There's Commander Gordon Fullerton. We're joining the 51F flight crew here. On the extreme left is Payload Specialist 2, John Bartow of the blue team. And sitting next to him, Mission Specialist 3, Tony England. Tony is a NASA geophysicist specializing in Earth and planetary sciences. And John Bartow is a solar physicist from the Naval Research Laboratory. Over on the other side of the table, we have Mission Specialist 1, Carl Heneyes of the red team. And he is NASA astronomer. Sitting next to him is Payload Specialist number 1, Lauren Acton, a Lockheed solar physicist, member of the red team. And pilot Roy Bridges be making his first mission and will be responsible for helping Commander Fullerton to fly the ship. Sitting to the left of Commander Fullerton is Mission Specialist Story Musgrave. Making his second trip into space, he'll be assisting in the flight control of the orbiter and serving as the third member of the flight crew. And here comes the flight crew, led by Commander Gordon Fullerton, Tony England there, Mission Specialist Musgrave, and the rest of the members of the 51F flight crew. They're also joined by astronaut John Young and Flight Operations Director George Abbey. They've crowded into the elevator there in the Operations and Checkout building and will be on their way down to the ground level. A crowd of news media representatives and employees have gathered at the walkway to see the crew off this morning. Standing by is the astronaut van, which will take the crew to the launch pad. And we'll expect to see them emerging from the doors there at the Operations and Checkout building shortly and down that walkway. And Commander Fullerton, Payload Specialist Lauren Acton is second, and preparing aboard the astronaut van now, there's Mission Specialist Tony England, Story Musgrave, John Bartow, Carl Heneyes, pilot Roy Bridges, followed by astronaut John Young, and George Abbey, and the Astro van will be departing shortly for the launch pad. The crew of 51F has made this trip 3 times during the terminal count demonstration test on July 12th for the first launch attempt of the Spacelab 2 mission. And they're on their way again to the launch pad. And we're going to do our best here at the Kennedy Space Center today to give them a good send-off and on their way to a 7-day scientific mission at approximately 3:23 p.m. this afternoon. T-minus 12. T-minus 10. We have go for engine start. T-minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition and liftoff. We have liftoff of Challenger and Spacelab 2. The shuttle has cleared the tower.
Tower clear.
Roll program initiated.
Challenger.
Houston now controlling. They'll be throttling down to 65% throttles on their main engines. Now throttling down. Now at 65%. Velocity now 1,000 feet per second. Distance downrange 2 nautical miles. Altitude 4.1.
Challenger Houston, your go at throttle up.
Engine's now back up to 104%. Three good APUs, three good fuel cells on Challenger. 1 minute, 30 seconds. Velocity now 3,200 feet per second. The rate of climb 2,000 feet per second. That call a precursor to SRB separation. Standing by for SRB set. Good SRB SEP confirmed. 2 minutes, 22 seconds now at 4,500 feet per second in velocity. Distance downrange 46 nautical miles.
Challenger Houston, first stage performance low.
That call gives the crew throttling information. Velocity now 5,100 feet per second. The rate of climb 1,400 feet per second.
Challenger Houston, 2-engine TAL capability.
Roger, 2-engine TAL. That call tells the crew they have the capability to make a Zaragoza, Spain, transatlantic abort should one engine fail. Three minutes, 16 seconds. Distance downrange 80 nautical miles. Return status now being discussed in the MOCA. All systems are go. Three minutes, 45 seconds. Now 110 nautical miles downrange, velocity 6,600 feet per second.
Challenger Houston, negative return.
Roger, negative return. That call indicates a return to launch site abort no longer possible. Four minutes, 18 seconds. Now 147 nautical miles downrange. Velocity now 8,000 feet per second.
Read copy, stand by.
We have a center engine down.
Abort ATO, abort ATO.
Now receiving live downlink television from the flight deck of Challenger.
Houston, I'll get a shade for that overhead light when I get a chance here.
Okay, Story, thank you, but we do have a good picture of you right now, and the lighting shouldn't be a real problem. That improved things.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, depth, experiment 10 and 11 depths have been no opt, and on 40P, according to the checklist, I think it's sequence 98 is supposed to be on, isn't it?
Stand by. Spacelab, John, this is Marshall Ops.
Go ahead, Bob.
Okay, that sequence 98 is part of step 5, which has been omitted. That was done from the ground.
Okay, I copy.
And Challenger Houston story, the Experiment 13 people say your push-offs look great to them.
Okay, I'm doing the best I can. I do have people sleeping behind that wall the TV's looking at, so I have to do that one really gingerly.
Roger, we copy, but they look good.
It's Mission Control Houston, the XRT now in a park position. They're moving the arm in for the grapple of the plasma diagnostic package. The last time the PDP was loose in space was, or at least unberthed in a payload bay in space, was on Commander Gordon Fullerton's last flight, STS-3.
Spacelab Martial Ops, we really do like those pictures.
Range, please.
Spacelab, John, Martial Ops.
Second, Charlie's busy.
This is just a word from Experiment 3 again, saying that these scans are really great.
Okay, good. It's not exactly prime time in Houston, but we're very happy to be with you anyway. And we've had a fun night up here working on the science.
maybe Dr. Acton would like to tell you a couple of words about what we've been doing here recently.
Well, any views from the cabin are prime time, and we're ready to copy.
I think we owe a big vote of thanks to Experiment 13 for giving us those nice gravity gradient times. Had some superb refueling, and in order to return our thanks to them, we did some ultra-quiet sequences, and everybody was extremely quiet while we were looking out the window watching the world go by. We're now getting set to reactivate the IPS and hopefully get some solar data.
Well, that sounds good. We're all looking forward to that.
People are feeling good. The machine's running good. We've got a lot to be thankful for.
And with the Experiment 11 now seeing the sun for the first time, a very pleased group of investigators here in the Payload Operations Control Center for Experiment 11, the Solar Ultraviolet Spectral Irradiance Monitor. That experiment, which is to determine the variations of all the ultraviolet emissions from the sun.
Roger, as you can probably see, we have achieved an optical hold and the filter settle with Experiment 10. And Lauren and John are busy, they have an H-alpha image of the sun now on one of our monitors, and they're busy doing running through the focus test.
We copy, Carl, and we're looking at it too.
Okay, very good.
That's a nice view of the sun right there.
There's a lot of joy on the flight deck. Yep, you even see a solar prominence sticking out there off the limb.
Yeah, we see that. That's fantastic.
Gunther, we'd appreciate, John and I are up here working on this focus, would appreciate your comment on the focus when John thinks he has reached the optimum.
Which focus position do you think is the optimum?
We ran through a sequence before and we liked minus 30. Right now we have minus 35. We'll go through in steps of 5 and see if you can see any difference.
I will try.
Challenger, Houston, about a minute and a half to Tidris LOS, and we'll talk to you at Canberra on or around 3-4. A couple of reminders, we will confirm that at the end of this solar pass, Tony, we'd like the IPS stowed to gimbal latch. And for Gordo, a reminder, flight control power off.
Keith, thank you. And we did get finally got another optical hole after it, so it took a while, but we got back on the sun. Unfortunately, we won't get much science done.
And we see it down here, too.
Switched over since we changed the scan range on the IR. I'm able to almost look down the thread of it here from that.
Okay.
Story Musgrave continuing to work with the crystal growth experiment, activating the syringes, which act as a pump to pump the fluid into the center of the chamber. This will be done on each side. A fluid will come out of each port, and as the fluids merge towards the center of the chamber, they will combine and form a crystalline material. Hello, Tony. I know you've heard this 100 times, but there really is a significant difference in blooming between one window and the other. Continuing to receive live downlink television of the plasma diagnostic package. PDP is rotating at about 5 RPM. This keeps it in a stable mode.
And Challenger Houston, for Tony, we see that we've lost our deploy indication on the MPMs. If you could bump the switch up to deploy to get that indication back for us, we'd appreciate it.
Okay, I'll do that.
Challenger Houston. Based on some thermal predictions that we saw of temps on the PDP, the PI is predicting that the spin down will probably start in a couple minutes from now.
Okay, I hope he's right. Okay, Houston, we thought we'd start with the captain speaking here, who's in the captain's quarters, and kind of recreate about an hour ago when I got up to start the day. So I'm turning on my light, and now I'll open the door and come out into the, see what's going on. You can see I'm snug in my sleeping bag here. And I'll come on out and just shoot right up to the flight deck here and see where we are and what we're doing.
Hello, Carl.
We don't have everybody on comm, so I just threw Carl a towel from the towel drawer over here. Good morning, America. Okay, here's Carl in the near the waste management system, personal hygiene station. He's taking a bath with a washcloth the way we do. Don't have a shower in here, so it's he's wetting the washcloth and go with that and then a towel. Then you're all ready for 16 hours of a lot of work and a lot of play too. I'll make show you how this water dispenser works here. I'll let just a little bit out. It makes, here, you catch it with a towel, Carl, and I'll shoot it at you. It's a pretty good water pistol.
The ECOM's watching it real close. Well, we think we're on the other camera now. We're looking at the what appears to be the outside of the airlock. And we see Roy floating in there.
When we drew straws for the bunks, Roy drew the lower bunk here. You can see.
Yeah, he just disappeared out the bottom of our scene. Now we got a good view.
Okay. Okay, that's the last we'll see of him for about 8 hours, I imagine.
A night in the box.
Okay, let me see what I had next on the script. Well, we thought we'd let Tony give you a little look at some of the SAREX equipment, which we haven't activated yet, but he's got it all set up. And if you're free, Tony, you can come on down here.
Okay, and we were putting together some new times to send up to him too, since its orbit has changed slightly, and we're going to get that up to him when we can get it together.
Okay, appreciate that. Standing. This is the SAREX, the Shuttle Amateur Radio Experiment. I stuck it here in the pathway where everybody has to go by it. It's a credit to my teammates here that they tolerate all this, but it looked like the best place to put it. SAREX stands for Shuttle Amateur Radio Experiment, and amateur radio operators have always been on the edge of technology. This isn't particularly new technology, except that the new digital technology allows it to do things that we couldn't have done a few years ago. Essentially, we've got a commercial TV camera that anyone could go out to their local radio store and buy. And we feed this into a scan converter built by a commercial outfit but modified by NASA radio clubs. Okay, thank you. Modified by NASA amateur radio clubs, and this takes a snapshot of the scene and digitizes it and puts it in a memory. And then it slowly on an audio goes into a handy-talkie, just essentially a walkie-talkie like this. From there, we'll send it over a wire up to the upper window upstairs and this antenna when I get it up there in the window. And then it'll be transmitted to the ground. The whole thing only puts out about 2.5 watts, but because there's not much interference up here, we're to talk to the amateur radio operators on the ground. And when we get going here, we'll be able to send color TV images of what we're doing on board as a series of snapshots updated every 10 or 20 seconds. And amateurs any place on the ground will be able to receive them, and amateurs with scan converters can see the picture. Others would record them on a tape recorder and take them over to a friend's house who have a scan converter and turn it into a picture themselves. We also have the capability to take a picture up from the ground, and we're going to do that as a demonstration on some later passes. We've been so busy up here with the changes that we haven't had a chance to use the system yet. In fact, I missed a schedule with the Japanese Amateur Radio Society a couple of days ago, and I really apologize for that, but we were awful busy at the time and just couldn't do it. I hope sometime later today to actually get the system on the air. And that's about all I have to say about SAREX.
Well, we appreciate that, Tony, and like I said, we got some new times here to let you know when those folks will be listening if you get some time away from your IPS duties to do that.
Okay, I had the scan converter and the TV system on last night, and it all works fine. We just didn't transmit anything.
We copy that.
Next, what we thought we'd do is let Dr. Acton show you the state of the airlock, which is kind of interesting. Can you get on the mid-deck camera again? I think it does show the airlock hatch.
Okay. And we're on the other camera staring at the airlock, and we got the back of either Story or Gordo there.
Why couldn't you tell the difference, Dick? Okay, Lauren doesn't have his comm on, but he's going in to this airlock if he can. It's really Fibber McGee's closet.
Okay, we switch back to the other camera.
In there is just about everything you can imagine. 5 folded up seats
Shuttle EMUs, that is spacesuits, several waste bags. Let me see if I can stick this light in here to give you a better scene. All our boots and harnesses. Amazingly enough, one payload specialist also. Interesting, during the prox ops, all of this stuff shook loose from the rather lightly restrained state we had it. A lot of it came floating out in the mid-deck, and after all the translations, we had to gather it all up and stuff it back in yesterday. We shut the airlock door now, we'll have acting under control. Carl said that'll be the first time in the whole flight. Okay, I'll relay what Lauren mentioned about the protein crystal growth experiment, which we have taped to the wall up behind the EMUs in the airlock wall to keep it out of the way from being bumped, and seems to be safe and secure in there. And Story, you might quickly report on the state of it, because you took a look at it after we did all that translating yesterday.
I looked at diffusion apparatus number 2 yesterday, and I just lost one droplet in one of the chambers. All the others were intact.
How are we doing on time now, Dick?
Well, looks like we should have about 15 minutes left.
Okay, next on our script here was Story was going to show you a little bit about the plant growth experiment. I'll take the camera and turn it around here and get lined up.
Okay.
Okay, and are you getting me hot mic now, Dick?
You're loud and clear, Story.
Okay, I got the power down the plants here so I can bring them out and show them to you. These are our two plant growth chambers right here, and there's 6 different chambers within each one of these. This is number 1. Right here, there's 6 different chambers, 1 through 6 there. And there's 6 more down below. The reason we're running this experiment is principally to study lignin formation. Lignin is the kind of thing, if you plant a seed in the ground or you tip a pot of a plant over going this direction, it will respond to gravity and grow up. It's what gives a plant some strength. When you're eating plants, like we all have to, we all depend on plants for food, you don't want so much lignin in them. But if you want to use plants for structural strength, such as wood and the like, you like more lignin in them. And we share a system down here on Earth with plants. We consume the oxygen, and we produce carbon dioxide, and plants consume the carbon dioxide and produce plant foods. We are growing some oat plants, some pine seeds, and some mung beans here in zero gravity, where the plants do not have to produce lignin to oppose gravitational forces. Now here are some pine seedlings. And how's the picture of that, Dick? Can you see that all right?
Yeah, we're just making it. There's a good picture right there, Story.
You see that's good?
That's a good one right there.
Okay. Is that better? Okay, there are the pine seedlings. monitor the temperature of these chambers at all times because there's light there to mimic the sun. The principal investigator is Joe Coles, the University of Houston. Here's a look at some very young beans which are just starting to sprout. Those are planted just a day before launch. We'll take a look at one of these down here. We're going to photograph these on mission day 3 and 6. There's another one of some very young beans.
Getting a good view, Story.
Okay, we're going to do some more plant TV later today. So I think that'll cover it in terms of this presentation.
Well, I've been told the PI is really enjoying the view on that story. Thanks a lot.
So, okay, we're going to get some more later, of course. Okay, and here comes field specialist John Bartow from Naval Research Lab, who's going to come down and show you how to cook up a meal.
I might mention, one of the things that they don't tell you that TS requirements, so when you go on orbit, you have to do the cooking for the commander. And let's see, commander's going to have steak tonight, looks like. I'll fire up the oven and start heating up the steak.
Steak for the commander and what for everybody else?
Let's see, the commander's going to have steak. He's going to have strawberries, I presume, for dessert. Green beans and broccoli. And tropical punch. Would you like coffee now or later, Commander? Okay. These green beans and broccoli are a little stiff right now. We've got to get some water into them and then get those heated up too. This is the water dispenser. Says it needs 3 ounces. So we insert it in here. Dial up 3 ounces. Push the button.
A close-up view of how this looks after the water gets in the package.
Looks good.
Does that look appetizing to you? Give it a little massage, and then we'll stick it in the steak so they heat it up. Now we'll have to do the same with the strawberries here.
Please don't heat my strawberries, though.
Okay, we're back with you, John.
Okay. We just filled up his tropical punch. And I have to get him a straw. Hot water or cold water you put in that? Cold water. Probably lukewarm. That's one of the small problems with this jelly is that when you switch over from hot to cold, it takes a couple of, 8 or 10 ounces to make the switch and get the hot water out of the lines. You'll find this is pretty good. Thank you. Just what I like. Lukewarm tropical punch.
That and having to massage your own food is one of the hazards there, Gordo.
We're getting down in the mud on some static, Dick. Can you say again the last?
That's okay. You don't want to hear it.
Heaven really isn't as fast, but John has taken that food that was to be heated out and attaching it to placing it in one of the food trays. John's getting the utensil package out. Okay, I'll take it. Well, now that I have my dinner, John, you're free to go back and do science.
There's no tip included, I guess.
Guidance Officer reports navigation is good in both the primary and backup systems on board Challenger. Flight Dynamics Officer reports Challenger looks good, turning on to final. Challenger on glide slope. Slightly left of center line, altitude 11,000 feet, velocity 600 feet per second.
Challenger Houston, we show you on glide slope, converging center line, winds 160 at 6.
Roger.
Altitude 7,000 feet, velocity 550 feet per second. On glide slope, approaching center line. Flight Dynamics Officer reports on center line on glide slope, altitude 3,000 feet. Descending 180 feet per second. Velocity 550 feet per second. And gear down. Altitude 400 feet. Gear locked. touchdown. Main gear down. Nose wheel coming down. Touchdown on the nose gear. Challenger kicking up a lot of dust on runway 23 at Edwards as it rolls to a stop at the completion of Shuttle Mission 51F, the Spacelab 2 flight. And wheel stop. And we see the crew of Space Shuttle Mission 51F now exiting the orbiter. Commander Gordon Fullerton shaking hands as he steps down the stairway.